So it is currently the first week of NaNoWriMo, and for those who have just discovered my channel, I am hoping to plot, write, edit, and publish a book all in 4 months. And with my challenge coinciding with NaNoWriMo, not only try to write my novel in 1 month, at least the first draft, but also to try to attempt to write like my favorite authors. There's quite a few videos on YouTube, on BookTube specifically, that where authors challenge themselves to write like famous writers like Stephen King. And I really adore watching those videos. And so when I was thinking about which authors I personally would like to follow, I realized a lot of the authors that have already been emulated on YouTube are not authors I either love or not authors I have read that much. So I went through my list of favorite authors and I have picked out 4. So basically what we're going to do this month is for each week of NaNoWriMo, I'm going to attempt to write like a different author. And this week is Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens is one of the biggest Victorian authors. Great Expectations, David Copperfield, The Tale of Two Cities, Oliver Twist, Little Dorrit is possibly my favorite, Nicholas Nickleby, The Christmas Carol. However, I know a lot about his books, obviously having read them, but I don't know much about his writing process. He treated writing much like any day job. He woke up at 7 a.m., had breakfast at 8, and was sat down to work in his study at 9 a.m. He would work without pause until 2 p.m., when he would stop for lunch and embark on a daily 3-hour walk around London. These walks were integral for Dickens' success as an author. Not only did they provide him with space to muse on his writing and consider further developments, they were also key in Dickens' unrivaled knowledge of the city. Dickens grew up in London and had always walked its streets. Moving through the city on a daily basis among people of all kinds equipped him to represent London at its most authentic and raw. Following his walk, Dickens would return home for dinner at 6 p.m., spend an evening relaxing with his family and friends, and be in bed by midnight. It was a strict routine that allowed him to produce work at an impressive rate. Dickens never varied his hours. Even when inspiration failed to strike, he would write thousands of words in a morning, or sometimes nothing at all, but his routine did not change. Now, there's a few things I will have to tweak in his process. So for example, I work most mornings. So unfortunately, I can't start till the afternoon. So I'm going to have to shift his entire routine into the afternoon, which is not an ideal, but we're going to have to deal with it. So he writes 5 hours. In his case, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. In my case, I'll probably start at around 2 p.m. and then I'll finish at 7 p.m. Unfortunately, that means that I can't really walk around for 3 hours. There are a couple reasons, though, that I don't think walking around for 3 hours in the evening would be helpful to me. First off, my book is set in the Victorian era in England and Seoul, Korea. So I don't think it would be helpful to walk around Ohio like a regular neighborhood. I also live in, I wouldn't say it's a dangerous part of Ohio, but it's not exactly safe to be walking around at night. So I think what I'm going to do is kind of try to emulate the idea of him walking for 3 hours. So I might do a half-hour workout. I might run around my house cleaning things that do not require much brain power that I think would elicit a similar response to just mindlessly walking around a city. But I think the most important thing is to try to write for 5 hours a day and not worry as much about exactly the word count that I want. I think I calculated that I do want to be writing 3,000 words a day because I'm hoping to write 90,000 words this month. But I'm not going to sweat it this week. It is currently Monday, and it's a couple days before NaNoWriMo officially begins, but I decided to do it more as a week-to-week thing as opposed to I start the 1st of November, because I think that for me, because I can't do any work on the weekends, it just makes more sense for me to start on Monday and end on Friday for each of these weekly challenges that I'm going to be doing. So let's see if I can survive this strict routine. So I don't have my microphone on it, but I've only been doing this an hour, and I'm already on 1,300 words. What? Do you see that right here? That is amazing. So it is currently 7. I am a little bit glazed in the eyes. I probably look a little bit glazed in the eyes. I don't know if this process is going to work for me, but I'm glad I'm trying it at least, and we'll see how tomorrow goes. Maybe I'll get used to the process, but right now I think I work very well, working very quickly for a short period of time. So for the first 2 hours, I wrote 3,000 words, I think. It was a crazy amount. And then for the next, two and a half hours, about the second half, I only wrote about 1,000 words. So I went from writing 3,000 words in 2.5 hours to writing 1,000 words in the same time. Maybe I just need to get used to it. So it is currently Halloween, and I was very bad at writing today, and partially that's because I had to go to Mass for All Souls Day, and I also didn't start writing till 2:30. So it's currently 7, and I will go back to trying to write, but I think I failed today. So I think we're going to do a reset, because I didn't even try to attempt to do the 5 hours of writing in 3 hours. Also, yesterday did not go good for the 3-hour walk around London equivalent. I feel like I just am too tired to write for 5 hours and then immediately jump into walking or doing activities or doing a bunch of cleaning. And I can do a little bit of cleaning, but within an hour I get rather tired. So I'm going to try this again tomorrow, and I have tomorrow off from work, so hopefully it goes a little bit better. So it is day 3. If I sound a little bit horrible, it's because I got a cold. I don't know where it came from, but I feel pretty horrible. In fact, this morning I could not talk that much, so let's see how this goes. But my writing, however, did very good today. I think I'm going to tweak Charles Dickens' writing as opposed to writing for 5 hours straight. I'm going to break it up, so write 2.5 hours, take 2 hours, take maybe an hour to 2 hour break, and then do another of the 2 hours. So 5 hours of writing, 3 hours of walking or other stuff. In this case, it might be cooking, but instead I'm putting the walking in the center. So far, my writing is doing amazing. I just want you to see how it's going. I currently have almost 10,000 words. I did find one tip for Charles Dickens' specific method is I think it works very well to not know what your word count is. So I actually turned off my word count when I'm actually writing, and so I can only look at it when I stop writing. And so then I don't fixate on the numbers as much. It's more the time. So that has helped me today, at least. Also, don't you love the sophistication of my setup? I have my laptop on top of D&D handbooks and some Infinity books, which is kind of like Warhammer. My husband plays it. And then my typing board, and then my mouse and my coffee. Super sophisticated. So it is the end of Thursday, and I will be going back to work tomorrow, so I will not have as much time to write, but I have a couple more hours I'm going to write tonight. I'm currently about the 12,000 word mark, and I should be reaching, I'm hoping, the 15,000 word mark today, but even if I get 1,000 more words done up to 13,000, I would be happy with that. So even though I'm not focusing on the word count, it does help at the end of an hour of writing to look and see how much I've written. But I try not to fixate on it too much, because I know that it will get in my head and I will start to fixate too much on it. So my writing's going very well. I am very happy with where my story is going, all the characters, the mystery. Oh my gosh, I know where it's going, and I'm just I love writing it down, and I so look forward to, after I just puke this first draft up on the page, being able to go back over it and tweak all these little things and tweak all the clues and tweak all the characters. So I am incredibly enjoying this process, and my throat is slightly better today than it was yesterday, thank God, but it's not fully well. I have one day left, and I will see how much writing I can get done in the first week of NaNoWriMo. So it's Friday, and though the day isn't quite over, I may write another couple thousand words. I wanted to wrap up this week, and I feel like I kind of failed to do Charles Dickens' writing routine because I deviated from it so much it almost didn't even have the same semblance by the end of the week. But there were a few takeaways that I thought helped me to write more. One is telling myself I need to sit down for a certain amount of time and write. I wasn't able to say, hey, if I get 1,000 words done real quick, I can just be lazy the rest of the day or do other stuff. I said, hey, I have 5 hours today that I am going to write. And whether that means I take an hour break or like a 3-hour break, that means I have to come back and finish those 5 hours at the end. And that really pushed me forward. I also found that as the week continued and I tried to stay active, though I didn't really get super active by the end of the week because I have a cold. I'm feeling a little bit better, but not like fully better yet. And so I didn't do a lot of like the cleaning and exercising, but I found like doing more of those things, especially at the beginning of the week, really gave me more energy to write and I suppose kept my brain clear. So I can see why Charles Dickens did that because he was able to process things in his head. So I would give this routine for me personally like a 6 out of 10. I don't think it was like perfect for me. I definitely adapted it to my own needs. But I think it gave me important tools to be able to be more successful in my writing. So far, I'm really happy with how my book is going. I'm trying to take my time with the story instead of rush through plot points. And that has really helped me to kind of like just sit and stay with the characters for longer. When in previous books that I wrote, I would be like trying to go from action sequence to action sequence without like this sitting moment. So I'm enjoying my book and writing my book, and I can't wait to read it back once I'm done. There's already a few like big things I'm like, no, I need to change this or like develop this more in the second draft. But it's not enough for me to say, oh no, this is all horrible, I'm just done with it, because I've worked out like the big plot points in plotting. I think I enjoy plotting, even if it's just like basic plotting, like overall big story plotting and not like the little details. Are you guys part of NaNoWriMo this year? How's your writing been going this week? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!